My friend got away from her abusive, entitled mother after getting sent to the hospital. So, I would like to start out by saying I was given permission from my friend to post this. It's been 5 years since this incident has happened. To be honest, my friends would have posted this herself, but she finds it hard putting it into text form, but she still wanted to share the story. Our cast are F, friend, and EM, entitled mother. A few years back, F had just finished her GCEs, which are tests at the end of secondary school, helps you with an A-levels and university. Now, she has only ever had her mother. Her father left when she was 3, probably because the tramp was bat crap crazy, so she had only ever known her mother. Entitled mother was the type of Asian parent who believed they could lord over their kids and force them to do her bidding. Friend's life was always her doing most of the house chores, getting shouted at for no reason, and having to get the highest grades. Typical Asian life. That's what F thought was normal. Well, I met my friend during primary school, and during that time, she slowly understood things were not right compared to other families. I was blessed with nice parents, so anytime friend would talk about her mother, it never felt right. When friend turned 13, she finally got that her mother was abusive, but it took another year or so to come to terms with it. Keep in mind, she only ever had her mother. She only had our friend group to go off to understand what a normal, or at least a decent family was meant to be. During year 10, friend started going against her mother. Entitled mother was relatively short at 5'2", while friend grew to be 5'7", a considerable height difference. Entitled mother tried, at every occasion, to belittle and manipulate the situation to make friend feel like she was inadequate. Friend used to get the slight beating, and up until year 10 that was okay. That is clearly not okay. Whenever friend went against her mother, whether it be the occasional backtalk or just simply staying at school for a long time, it always resulted in entitled mother getting angry and trying to beat friend with an object in the house. Despite all the beatings and the situation getting more and more out of hand, friend felt anger bubble inside of her. She started getting more and more confident. She researched child protection laws. While I can say without a doubt friend is most definitely the strongest person I know, friend was also really scared. She would often confide how she was preparing herself to get away from her mother, but it was incredibly difficult. She was her mother after all, someone who was meant to love and care for her. Some days, it seemed like she was ready to go to the counseling office or call child protection, but she would back off in the end, stating she couldn't bring herself to out her mother like that. Even though the entitled mother would beat her, shout at her, belittle her, friend wanted desperately to love her. Family is a strange thing. Friend didn't want to lose what was essentially her only family. One day, it got really serious. We were getting our results back. Getting a C was all one really needed to get into the university. F got her grades. 4 A's, 5 B's, 1 C. Getting B would have made her mother angry. She probably just would have shouted at her, calling her useless, but she got that 1 C. When she got home, her mother was sitting on the sofa. Friend had a horrible gut feeling, so she had her phone in her pocket. Dial pad had 99 on it. When she showed her mother her grades, there was an uncomfortable silence. Her mother scrunched up the paper and walked into the kitchen. Friend tried to communicate with her, but entitled mother wouldn't reply. When she walked out, she held a spice handle, the one you use to grind spices. The next couple of seconds was entitled mother screeching at the friend. Friend, feeling absolutely terrified, dialed 999 and kept the phone in her pocket. Entitled mother kept on screeching. She started to bash the spice handle on the friend. Entitled mother talked about how she would hurt her, how she would kill her, all these threats. They were heard by the operator on the other end of the phone. Friend pulled out her phone and yelled the postcode into the phone, in case they couldn't track the phone call. From what friend told me, she ended the call and her mother stood still. Friend started laughing. It could have been the stress finally accumulating and getting let out, to be honest. Friend said she felt absolutely terrified and was trembling non-stop. Friend told her mother how everything that just happened was heard by the police. Friend was standing there covered in wounds. Entitled mother froze. Up until now, she had never beat her bad enough that she was bleeding. Entitled mother ran up the stairs and locked the room. 2 minutes later, the police show up at the door. They see how banged up Friend was and took her to the ambulance that had also accompanied the police. The police broke down the door and quote-unquote escorted the entitled mother to the car. She was supposedly crying and shouting, but Friend didn't want to look in her direction. There was also a whole debacle with the court case. The quote-unquote mother got 4 years in jail for child abuse. Friend took pictures of the occasional bruises, but they couldn't amount to much since they looked like little spots. There was stuff with a therapist proving emotional abuse, foster care stuff, and yada yada. Friend doesn't like going into too much into the court stuff. That year was the hardest for all of us. Friend is doing much better now. She goes to therapy and she's much happier. We wanted to share this story for those who may be in similar situations. Sorry if this was a bit long. We don't really care if you believe us or not, but please, anyone struggling out there, don't leave it alone. Don't feel like you have to stay with family just because it's all you know. There are people who can help. And our next story was posted by user EvaEOO, titled, "Can you please not apply to Cornell? My son wants to apply there too." So, this is a story that happened to my friend this year, and I am honestly so shocked by this. So basically, my friend is a regular good student at school, has amazing after-school activities, and is student government president. She also has a perfect SAT score. It has been my friend's dream to go to Cornell. Both her parents went, and she's also been in love with it for years. Now enter entitled mum and entitled son. My friend's mother gets a call on her mobile from the entitled mum. Basically it goes like this.
Hi, are you friends, Mum?
Yeah, what do you need?
Well, my friend is applying to Cornell College, early decision, right?
Yeah, she is, why?
Can she please withdraw her application? My son is applying there, and we want there to be less competition for him.
If you agree to pay for my daughter's full tuition wherever she goes, then sure.
Excuse me?
My friend's mum just hung up on her. My friend is still applying to Cornell. Hopefully, she gets in, rather than this entitled mum's spawn. Our next story was posted by user Luda Marie, titled, "An entitled mum wanted for her and her son to sit where my friend and I were sitting on the bus, and my teacher had to step in." So, I've already told this one on here, and I thought that was the end of it. But just recently I came into contact with another entitled parent, and my teacher had to step up for me and the rest of the class. So, in my school, you're in the same class for 9 years, and then your classes change when you move to a different school. So our school had an excursion planned for us. It was going to be 4 days with traveling all around the country. There were around 50 to 60 students going, and we needed 2 separate buses. My class had the most students going. Only one guy from my class didn't go. So we and like 15 students from the other class got into the bigger bus. This also meant that it would take a little longer for us to get going, as the teachers had to count all of the students. Our buses were parked in front of the big museum, and there were other buses for different schools that were going on an excursion as well. The teacher wrote me down as present, and I got my seat. I sat there when this very angry-looking woman approached me. Me and my friend, he was sitting up next to me in the bus, looked up at her confused, as she wasn't any one of the teachers that we knew were coming.
Excuse me, but my son is supposed to be sitting here?
Entitled mother is the one talking this. I was confused, and I politely said that this is where I was written up to sit, and that even if I double-checked to make sure. She was already getting angry. Her son was right next to her, and I knew he didn't go to my school, as he looked like he was 10 or 11.
I'm pretty sure my son is supposed to sit here. Now please move!
At the point where she raised her tone, I instantly knew that she wouldn't go without some sort of confrontation. My friend and I were still trying nicely to explain to her that she was probably on the wrong bus. At this point, my teacher came in and saw what was going on, so of course she asked the woman what was going on.
Yes, these 2 won't move, so my son and I can sit here.
The teacher looked at her list of students and checked us and our seats, and as expected, We were sitting where we should be sitting. My teacher is T, entitled mum is EM. It's easier for me to show you this conversation that went down like this.
Excuse me, miss, but this is where these kids are supposed to sit. Are you calling me a liar?
No, miss, but I think you're on the wrong bus. This bus is for kids from insert my school's name here.
All other kids got onto the bus, and why can't my son sit here?
Because you're not supposed to be in the bus. As I said, it is from kids from this school. Now, the woman was already furious and started yelling nonsense at my teacher, who took her comments calmly and told her to leave. She grabbed her son and they left the bus, being escorted out by the bus driver. My friend told me that she made a fuss outside of the bus too, but I didn't hear anything, thankfully. Even though it wasn't her fault, my teacher still apologized to me and my friend for this inconvenience. She's still one of the best teachers at the school. And our next story was posted by user That Geeky Markee, titled, Entitled Mother Gets Mad at Me for Having My Birthday Gathering on Her Wedding. I was 10. So, yesterday, October 5th, was my birthday, and we were recalling dumb accidents and funny stories that happened to me in my 17 years of life. And at one point, my dad brings up an incident that I had on my 10th birthday. I was scared when it happened, but 7 years later, the level of pathetic this bish hit never fails to amuse me. Just a heads up, I don't remember it word for word. Our cast are me, BFF, my bestie, my mum, my dad, my bestie's dad, the entitled mum, and the singer. You'll get it in the story. Aight, so we are in Lebanon, and in the country, there are many that we call military restaurants, clubs, etc. This is one way of thanking the military for their service. 7 years from this time, I turned 10 and my dad took me to one of those, no name specified. I was so hyped. We sat down and there was a wedding happening at the same time, but we didn't mind. The food was great and up comes the singer. He was an obnoxious entertainer of the restaurant. In Lebanon, people love this kind of entertainment, but I was shy, meek, and hated loud noises, and I still do. Dad knew that, and the following conversation ensues.
Hey, if you want, we can ask him to sing happy birthday for you.
What? No, I don't want that.
Alright.
However, 10 minutes later, I see him talking to S and pointing at me, and I knew what was going to happen. I left and hid in the living room, but my BFF later fetched me because the cake was coming. The singer was congratulating the married couple with us loudly, but as soon as he's done, and now I would like to wish a certain young girl a happy 10th birthday, and started singing it in his horrible English Arab accent. Gosh, I wasn't just flustered. I just wanted the ground to swallow me up. Let me remind you, I was shy, absolutely hated attention, and rather anxious. Thankfully, he is done quickly. The entitled mother who was getting married's face dropped as soon as I was mentioned. Her kid just looked and turned his head. As soon as we were left alone, I kid you not, this bish went up to our table, looked me dead in the eye, and this conversation ensues, translated from Arabic.
Excuse me, is it your birthday today?
Yes.
Then why did you have to celebrate your crap birthday here on my wedding day? Did you have to grab the attention off of me?
Me, holding back shy tears. I'm sorry, ma'am. Please leave us alone. I just want to celebrate in peace.
I wasted more than all this money, dollars for this wedding, and got my Botox done again,
which is common in Lebanon,
for a lot of money, but not for a little crap like you at all to take all the attention away. Do you have any consideration? Do you have akhlaq?
Manners in Arabic. This was too much for me. I started crying hard, and my BFF was hiding me while hugging me. Mum was so mad at the woman, and my dad was trying to reason with her as quietly as he could, helped out by my best friend forever's dad. At one point, I'm not sure when, my mum comes up and yells, not screams, at this woman.
How do you feel as a woman in her 40s attacking a 10-year-old girl like that because of such a silly reason? Don't you feel embarrassed? I will attack your fat little lard if she's running my wedding tape and taking my guests' attention away from me.
I was chubby back then, and this was a huge insecurity for me. I'm not sure how the rest goes, but at one point, I think she F's off. The sub-manager of the restaurant heard about the incident and offered me and my BFF free tiramisu. We obviously accepted. When we left, I recall being mad at my dad and telling S about the ongoing birthday gathering. Mum understood my anxiety issues and crap, and told him that he didn't mean anything bad by it. He just thought I'd be flattered because most girls here would be. I obviously was not flattered by this Barbie ripoff attacking me because I was born on the day she chose to celebrate her second wedding. And that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed my first story. I deeply apologized if I disappointed you. I just wanted to share the little fiasco from 7 years ago as a little B-Day tradition. Thanks for reading. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed the episode. If there's anything you guys would like to see, please let me know in the comments. I love hearing from you guys in the comments. I love replying. I know not everyone does. And anyway, I hope you just have a good day and enjoyed the episode. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.